Welcome everybody, it is Unstoppable Stoletzi, and we got for you today a nice Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition caster game. This one is actually a deathmatch 1 versus 1, so, lots of starting resources, immediate fighting, you name it. So, before we get started though, let's look at the map, see how this is going to play out. So basically on this map, this is the same map we saw the Treaty 40 Meds on the other day, by the way. So basically this map, you got this big ice lake here, with a couple of little, little extensions over here. And you can't actually construct any buildings on this ice at all, because literally the house would sink into the water and everybody would, turn into ice cubes pretty much. So you have to build in the snow and the grass on the corners of the map like this, right around where the trade routes are, pretty much. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the players conduct their attacks. You can of course build over here too and just push forward. So let's see how this goes, shall we? Alright, so let's begin. Okay, so on one side here we got the Chinese. Chinese got a couple of unique challenges when they're doing deathmatch, right? They don't get access to any sort of mercantilism technology at all. So in terms of getting all those early shipments that say the Europeans get, they don't really get access to that. But at the same time, they get a nice boost of export at the start of the game, so they can actually start sending out consulate armies right off the bat with whichever ally they decide to pick from. As with any civ though in deathmatch, you gotta get your population buildings up, so these villages, get the war academies up, get the mountain castles up for the artillery units. So I'm curious, yep, Russia. Eliyah seems to have a affliction with the Russians. And I can't blame them, they can, they have the factory, the fort, the blockhouse. These are great for defensive structures. They also are great economically for that factory wagon. They'll grant you the more resources to keep you up with your opponent, basically. It appears here that the opponent, Ethiopia, doesn't get any, sort of, mercantilism technology either. So, yeah, they're going to be behind in shipments as well. So, what they're going to start out with for a card is actually feudal armies. It basically is like a improved training card, so your fencing school and riding school from Europe. Basically, Africa gets one called Feudal Armies where it affects all the units, but it's a smaller train rate, it's only like 15%. I'm in 4K, yeah. Oh yeah, 4K is awesome. Let me put VSync on. Oh, that's fun. So, Ethiopia is starting out with Netanya's, which is their very nice skirmish unit. Yeah, pretty good unit overall that I use sometimes in some of the matches, and I see some of the Juanitos used too. So what are they going to combine with these Netanya's? Ah, interesting, so they can use technologies too for... Oh, cool. That should help out quite a bit. I recommend these two try to grab the trading post as well, like China's starting to do, just to make up for that loss of mercantilism. But now we're starting to see sort of the skirmish begin over here. So, looks like Eliyah is now going to focus on native warriors. I see native warrior attack being sent from the home city, so you'll see some pretty strong European natives added to the bunch. These counter dragoons are part of the are these part of the Russian consulate? I don't know who this is. Yeah, I see the little icon, the little thing underneath its feet. It might be a consulate here. Yep, so now we've got the Changdaos coming in, we've got the flamethrowers, hand mortars, also the Russian culverins too. These things we gotta definitely watch out for. Now we're gonna see the flamethrowers try to make some gains on the Netanya's. They're currently being protected by some of the javelin riders, These are basically a very weak but population cheap cab archer unit, Instead of firing arrows, they simply throw spears at you, And the way they work basically is they're one pop only, so you can have double the amount of them that you could, say, dragoons. So they're a very spammable unit. Ends up working out pretty well for them. But what's not going to work out well for those Neptunias is literally going right into the fire. Literally into the fire. Look at them literally burning burning before our very eyes. Oh wow, that must really hurt going right into the flames like that. Definitely. At this point, the Chinese cavalry has the advantage of being able to chase down the D'Artagnans, but looks like they're going to group up and wait for the artillery to move forward so that they can start to shell onto the Ethiopian palace over here and do a combined attack. Definitely make sure you time it out perfectly though, so you don't get intercepted by the javelin riders. Ideally, if you could group up your units in such a way to make it hard for the javelin riders to keep locked onto your artillery, that could be pretty useful for you. See if that ends up working out really good for them. Yeah, right now it seems like the handlers are simply firing upon the cavalry. But here comes the Sevastopol, this wonderful giant mortar that the Ethiopians have access to. Basically, this thing is a monstrosity. You know, it has a really wide range of... It actually has two different modes. It has a more concentrated mode with less splash that deals a lot more damage, or it can do a wide burst shot that damages many things in a wide area, but the damage to those individual units is far less. So it's pick or choose which one you think is going to work good for you. Now, this is interesting. I've never really studied this very much. So apparently for Ethiopians, they can actually use the levied units from their houses, it looks like. Yeah, you get these levied units from the houses, correct? Where do you get these from? Oh, you get them from the palace. Ah, cool. Yeah, I was looking at some Age of the World zips that can make them from their house. So yeah, basically you can make these levied gunners with the same stats as Minutemen. These are actually the same stats that I was studying the other day doing the Wars of Liberty live stream, you know, anti-siege unit, anti-artillery. Basically the basis of the new Wars of Liberty naval infantry. So yeah, basically the pretty good option if you're getting spammed by like flamethrowers, mortars, culverins. Just spam a bunch of those Libby gunners in, and they can have an easy time sniping them down. They almost seem more effective than even the javelin riders, just because they can counter different forms of infantry as well. Not to mention the fact that, oh, what do they cost? 90 influence? Ah, interesting. Well, it seems like right now they're getting roasted by the flames, as in actually roasted. And Angel of Death has really been roasted out of this game, it looks like, by these flamethrowers. Yeah, never underestimate the power of the Chinese flamethrowers, man. These things are beasts. Let me get it out at 4K. Yeah. I mean, Chinese flamethrowers, I've seen them a million times in Arena. You do not want to mess with those things. They can spray through your infantry, they can snipe your artillery if you're not careful. Definitely never underestimate the flame power of the Chinese flamethrower. We've seen it in real time, folks, too. Nothing Ethiopia had in their roster could deal with it. So, yeah, let's check the post-game out. I'm definitely curious to see, like, economically what Ethiopia was doing this whole time. Well, I do notice they were doing a lot of farming, you know, they had all their fields set up over here. Now, they didn't seem to go for the animals at all. Yeah, they didn't go for the animals at all, which is kind of interesting. Did Eliyah go for any animals or any Mother of Nature things? Yeah, I could see the hunters in the back and stuff, so I'm really surprised that not a lot of hunting from the Angel of Death. So let's go check the post game right now. Resources. Ethiopia actually had more resources than China. Well, if you consider the influence though, or the coin. The food was pretty behind though. Went a little bit slightly behind, but when it comes to military, now this is where the flamethrowers, you know, get their reputation from. Notice, like, triple the kills of the opponent just because of flamethrowers, as well as the Chinese ability to protect them with so much spammable units, as well as the natives that were added in from the map. Absolutely devastating. Absolutely devastating. If you enjoy seeing Chinese flamethrowers flame broil their opponents, always check out more casted games from my channel. We're going to be doing even more of these coming up, so see you on the next one. Signing off now. GG opponents. Good work.